All right, the next movie on our list, the classic, Razzie Award-winning Showgirls. Jude, you look excited as hell. Take it away.
1995, Showgirls, rated NC-17.
Yes.
With a runtime of 2 hours, 8 minutes.
Whoa. Stop for a second. I'm sorry. This is a first for us, right?
It is, yes.
Yep.
Our first NC-17 movie.
This is
Too hot for theaters.
the first NC-17 movie we've ever done on the podcast.
I will not be able to include any scenes from this movie in the video.
I am dangerously low on alcohol.
All right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
NC-17.
I just wanted to make sure that I was getting that correct.
No, it is a first for the podcast, yes.
2 hours, 8 minutes we spent watching this.
Oh, my God.
This had a budget of $45 million. What do you think this brought in worldwide?
I don't know. 20 million.
Vader?
15.
I think you'll be surprised to learn that it had a budget of $45 million and it made $37 million.
Okay.
So it almost broke even, but not quite.
Yep. That's a... Oh, man. This movie's hilarious.
Shall I?
Please do.
Please.
Okay. Trainwreck. Jessie Spano heads to Las Vegas to be a dancer. She makes her way from the pole to the stage by being the literal worst. Even though everyone she comes in contact with reaps chaos, she's somehow the continual recipient of the kindness of strangers, and this entire movie is nonsense and a fever dream. Discuss.
You hate this movie?
I hate it so much.
What?
I hate it so much.
It's my first watch.
I saw this in probably 1995, and I hated it. And then since then, I thought, I bet it's probably a hoot now.
Why did you
and
make
I
us watch
watched
it?
it again thinking it would be funny, and I thought, God, I think it's even worse.
It is.
It's so bad. It's so ridiculously bad that there's almost nothing I could chuckle at.
I liked it.
Fuck me, man.
This movie is so fucking awful.
I liked it. I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, she
She overacts.
The
The
overacting.
hell.
she scares me.
Oh, she's
The
psycho.
first thing she does is pull a knife on the guy she bums a ride from.
Yeah. No, she is outrageously, unjustifiably mean to everybody she comes in contact with.
100%.
She's just a bitch.
She's terrible. She's so mean.
I'd call her
She's
something
the
else, but I won't do
worst.
it.
Why is everyone nice to her?
Yeah. I
don't
Why
know.
do people fall in love with her? Why does this girl give her a place
So-
to stay in?
We'll just go over the plot real quick. The Saved by the Bell girl goes on a trip. She's bumming a ride to Las Vegas. Once she gets there, she wants to try and make some money. She befriends another girl who's a
Makeup
dancer,
artist.
a makeup artist or something like
At
that.
the
Yeah.
show.
And,
So she bums a ride from this guy
Yeah.
who then steals her suitcase.
Right. So she's
So-
stuck and stranded.
Yeah, so she's having a hissy fit in the middle of the boulevard, and the girl finds her and decides, I'm going to save this girl.
Yeah, I'm going to befriend her and
Yeah.
save her. So she eventually works her way up. She gets a job at a local strip joint, and she's like unnaturally really good at stripping, according to everybody else. And she just goes around and she
According
kind
to the people in the movie.
of she kind of just climbs the corporate ladder of stripping.
For lack of any other terms.
I don't know how else to describe it, but she literally just climbs to the top of the ladder of becoming
She's so hot, you
like
guys.
So hot.
a lead dancer in
I'm
one of the
sorry,
big
but
Vegas
when
shows.
she licks the pole, gross. That is how you get hepatitis.
Mortal
you
sin.
fucking crazy
You know, I won't be
person.
able to include that in the video. I can't put that scene in.
Where she licks the pole?
Yeah.
You can't put it in?
Gross.
She's completely naked in that scene.
You can black it out.
Just put some
how
little
much
bars.
work that
Put some little bars over her boobies or something. I don't know.
Stars. Happy faces.
There are so
Vader
many
faces.
boobs in this movie.
This movie is aggressively sexual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
It was like, hey, guys, let's take the chick from Saved by the Bell and put her in the filthiest movie that we can think we
Yeah.
can make.
So
And it's-
sexual
yeah.
and at the same time not sexy.
No.
Yeah,
Well-
no.
that's this movie, the thing that I think it thought it had going for it was its outrageous sexuality, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're going to be freaking full frontal and super sexy. But then the scenes where they're actually like doing things that would be sexual, they're so over the top and aggressive. You're like, that doesn't look comfortable.
No.
Her performance is so
Her gyrating,
strange and
it's so weird.
I don't. And whose fault is that? Is that
I would guess-
Verhoeven's
I
or
guess
is it
that's
hers?
the director, right? Because he's like, do more, dance more.
Yeah, make
Yeah,
it more
I-
aggressive.
All right, so here's the thing about this movie. We need to kind of
Yeah,
give
please.
a little bit of background. So it's directed by Paul Verhoeven, who was the director of RoboCop and Total Recall. And he was coming off of Basic Instinct for this
sense.
movie. Now, Basic Instinct was a huge hit, and it was like, it made Sharon Stone like an A-list actress. And it was written by Joe Esterhaus, who also wrote this movie. Now, for those of you who don't know who Joe Esterhaus is, he was like the king of the erotic thriller in Hollywood. And he had just made Basic Instinct, Jade, and Sliver. And his script for Showgirls was in a bidding war. And at the time, they spent like $4 million to acquire his script. And it was the most expensive script sale in Hollywood history at that point. And so like this movie had a bunch of buzz around it as being like the next big like sexual thriller type thing. And so Paul Verhoeven was actually making a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time called Crusades. And the funding for that movie fell through. And so once that movie died, Verhoeven went to this movie because he had had such a huge hit with Basic Instinct and Joe Esterhaus before. And so MGM, which was making this movie, was like, hey, like getting these two together is going to be like a big thing. And so like Verhoeven was like, Hollywood royalty at this point. Like he had made a bunch of hits, launched a bunch of franchises, and he launched Sharon Stone's career into the stratosphere. And so every young actress thought that working with Paul Verhoeven would make their careers.
And this was supposed to launch Elizabeth Berkley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so originally like they had gone to like a bunch of other like actresses. Like originally they wanted Drew Barrymore, and Drew Barrymore was like, I'm not doing that much nudity. And
She had already done Poison Ivy, I think, at that point.
Charlize Theron, who was an unknown at the time, was also up in the running. But eventually, I think that they had cast like some other actress, and at the last minute she backed out, and so they went with Elizabeth Berkley. And Elizabeth Berkley was coming off of Saved by the Bell, obviously, and in that show she played like the Miss Goody Two Shoes, the overachiever, the good girl next door, that type of thing. And so like she wanted to break out of that kind of typecast that she was in by doing something radically
She did.
different.
She never got cast for anything else
Yeah,
after
nothing,
this for like
ever.
10 years.
So unfortunately, this movie completely ruined her career. After this movie came out, she was dropped by her agent. She couldn't get a job anywhere. And the thing about her performance in this, because like right from the get-go, she's like spazzing out in every scene.
Over the top.
over the top
She's
in
cranked
every
up to like
scene.
15. Like the Nile goes to 10. She was at 15. She broke it and kept going.
And-
she wasn't this bad in anything else she's ever been in.
Yeah, and Paul Verhoeven has publicly come out and claimed that was his fault, because he was like, I directed her to do that. She was not originally playing the role so over the top, but I felt like the role required that because that was the type of movie I wanted to make, and I was wrong. Like
Oh, that's nice of him to take responsibility for it.
yeah. He basically said like, I ruined this poor girl's career with my bad direction.
Oh, interesting.
He 100% did.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are scenes in this where she is believable.
Yeah.
And this could have been what I think they wanted it to be. But like her over the top acting in every scene takes you completely out of it, and it's throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
like
well,
as soon as you start getting into it, she does something off the wall that you're like, what the fuck?
and,
That's so bad.
She was only paid $100,000 for this movie.
Get out.
Jesus.
Whoa, to do all that?
Yeah, to do all that.
Well, she thought that this was going to launch her into the
Yeah,
A-list.
but I mean, God.
And she basically told the entire crew at the beginning of the shoot, she was like, hey, you guys are going to see all of me, because she does full frontal in this. And, like, just deal with it. And it was funny because, like, she said that oftentimes after she'd do, like, a dance scene or, like, whatever, the crew would, like, throw tips at her for it.
God damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. The over-the-top aggression is definitely the worst part of this movie. The story itself, it's a girl trying to make it in a crazy
Yeah,
world.
It's pretty much all about Eve, but like an updated version. And Paul Verhoeven and Joe Esterhaus actually interviewed a lot of like strippers and hookers and stuff like that in Vegas to kind of get their stories about like how the town actually operates, and incorporated it into the script.
Dude, the freaking Bond villain sleazeball guy.
Yeah, and I think that they nailed it as far as like how Vegas kind of
Operates,
operates.
yeah. Behind the curtain.
And that I feel like was pretty accurate. But
Yeah.
just the acting is just so
That's
bad.
honestly, I'm looking at this movie. I watched it. I only watched it once. Honestly, I was like, I can't tell my wife I watched
I
this
just
movie.
feel like it was so intentionally titillating that it wasn't titillating at all.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean that's the worst part of it. But the story itself is fine. The characters, besides just the absolute over the topness of it, like the characters all worked for me. I thought the story was interesting. I thought it was going to be worse than it was. I thought it was going to be like The Room, but with chicks. That's not what I got.
No.
I got a misdirected movie, basically, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like one of the things to remember about this, just to put a little bit of context, is that like a few years before this movie came out, they still had the X rating, and the X rating was usually reserved for like pornography or movies that the Motion Picture Association of America
And you could only
did
show
not
those
want
in
theaters.
certain theaters.
This is basically
And so like a few years before this movie came out, they adapted the X rating into NC-17 in order to make it less of a mark of death, basically. But still, like movies that got this rating weren't typically allowed in wide release in theaters because people are like, it's pornography still.
Yeah.
But Paul Verhoeven, what he wanted to do is he came in, he's like, I specifically want to make this movie NC-17. And the studio's like, dude, like that's not a good idea. And he's like, no, trust me, it'll work. And so in order to get them to agree to letting him do an intentional NC-17 rating, he deferred 70% of his director's salary, which was like in the millions of dollars. And he said, like, if the movie's a hit, then you can give me 70% of my salary. And so like he only got paid like 30% of what he normally made to make this movie. And it was not a hit. And everyone in this movie took a major hit to their careers when it came out and flopped as bad as it did.
What was Gina Gershon doing before this movie?
She
She was doing a lot of sexual thrillers too. I think she had just done Bound, which was the Wachowskis' first movie. But she was kind of like up and coming as like this like sex pot type.
She's got
actress.
a weird look to her. I always thought she was kind of hot, but in a weird.
she's got a
way.
lot of teeth.
Yeah, she's
big
got
smile.
a weird shaped mouth.
Did you know Jenny McCarthy was almost cast in this movie as the
thank God
Jessie
she
Spano
wasn't.
As
character?
Nomi?
As Nomi, but then they found out she couldn't dance, and so they decided to go a different way.
I mean, I got to give everybody in this movie credit because there's shit that I would never do on camera. Like, oh, you want me to do what now? No, I quit. Like, props to them.
I mean, Kyle MacLachlan. Yeah,
Kyle MacLachlan said that watching this movie at the premiere was one of the most awkward
Oh, I'm
moments of
sure.
his life.
Yeah.
Because he was like, okay, that first scene's bad. It has to get better. And then he's like, oh, no.
we got the pool scene coming up.
No. Like there were a lot of rumors that he like walked out during the premiere.
Yeah, there was an interview that he did that people were saying that he walked out. And he was like, nope, I sat through every horrible moment of it.
Yeah, and he actually used a body double for his butt scenes as well. So
Good for him.
Yeah, smart man.
Can we talk about the sex scene in the pool?
Oh my God, we have to.
Absurd.
Absurd.
I mean, that's how I do it every time.
Well, what did you? We talked about what is it?
she looked like she was having a seizure.
She did.
Well,
she
she-
looked like she was being electrocuted.
She looked like that every time she got to do like a lap dance scene. She just went freaking
Off
the
Yeah.
rails.
Is that what dudes are into?
No.
No.
No,
That-
even her lap dance looked painful.
But yeah, like I said, like that doesn't look comfortable.
I've seen lap dances. I've had lap dances, and they're not that outside the box. But the sex scene, I was like, is that how I'm supposed to be doing it?
No. She was like drowning herself with the waterfall.
Yeah, she looked literally like she was being electrocuted. Like
absurd.
somebody was tasing her.
Yeah. So absurd.
You know, a movie like this, it's supposed to be like very sexual.
Yeah.
It's supposed to like kind of like get your crank going, turn you on a little bit.
Get out the Lubriderm.
Get out the Lubriderm. This movie,
That's a t-shirt.
you're welcome. This movie made me it makes you just like want to like put it away. And, you know, take the cum sock and just like throw it in the corner.
I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Go play some video games.
Did anyone else here ever watch Saved by the Bell back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I was a
but-
little old, but
yeah.
Well, I grew up on Saved by the Bell.
Same.
And the idea that there was a movie where Jessie Spano gets fully
Right.
naked, like that was a big draw.
right. That was the
But-
15
but-
million.
You
this
weren't
did
old
make.
enough to go see it,
Yeah,
though.
none of the people that wanted to see Jessie Spano naked were able to actually go see this movie.
Yeah,
But the
you had to
fun-
rely on older brothers, and none of you had any.
The funny thing about this is that, so how much did this movie make at the box office?
How much did it make?
Yeah.
37 million.
All right, so it made $100 million in VHS
Yeah, oh, yeah.
rentals
Oh,
Yeah.
for
Sure.
sure.
and DVD
Yeah.
sales
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So like this movie has made its money back and then
Yes.
some.
This
I don't
movie-
think
It's a-
anyone in this movie saw that money, though.
In fact, I want to just showcase this. So this is the
You!
this is the special edition.
You are one of those
Showgirls
people.
thing. And my good friend Aaron Siegel, who's the mayor of Paramount Studios, He gave this to me for a birthday gift a long, long time ago when I was living in LA and working at Paramount. And this
Back when you were a spokesperson for Lubriderm?
Yes, exactly. This thing not only has a special edition DVD of the movie, but it comes with 2 shot glasses, some pasties, and some like special like booklets and stuff.
You need to open that up and put the shot glasses in the bar and the pasties on your girl.
Bro, the freaking club scene.
Oh my God, every time she's dancing, I'm like, that's not what that is. That's having a seizure.
Oh, and Toon Man from Speed's in this movie.
Yes.
I didn't hate this movie as much. Like I said, I was expecting like The Room bad. It wasn't that bad. The sex scenes are absurd.
They're absurd.
Completely absurd, but I think that's the only thing I can really say about it.
No,
like
it's
the
bad.
story,
The whole movie's bad.
Story's cool. Story's interesting. Characters are interesting. It's just really bad directing.
How's the dancing for you?
There's some scenes, like you said, there's some scenes that are really good. When she's at the sleazeball place with her like sleazeball boss and her friends and the
Robert Davi.
and the big lady, and she's adorable. She's so funny.
Oh, I love the big lady.
Big Lady. She
Yeah.
was cool. Like that that culture that they have in the sleazeball strip
Yeah.
joint was the best part of the movie.
Well, we can go down to Little Darlings.
I don't
tonight
want to
if you
do
want.
that
You
at
wanna
all.
go?
Nope.
Yeah,
You get in trouble.
The Club Cheetahs that they're at
Yeah,
in
it's
this
real-
movie,
it's
it's a
real
real place.
It's a real club.
But it serves alcohol, so it's only topless. It's not full nude.
Little Darlings. 100 hot chicks
No,
and 3
little
ugly ones.
darlings recruits at high school graduations. I'm not going there.
Also, the big lady was Mama Bazoom.
Zoom.
Mama Bazoom.
And Davy, Robert Davy. Robert Davi. Joe Flanagan corrected me on that pronunciation. Robert Davi has some of the coolest leopard print
T-shirts.
He really
stuff
does.
for men that I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Yeah. Every single scene, he was like, I like his tie. I like his vest. I like that couch he's sitting on.
Yeah.
Every time there was a cheetah print to be had, Kadish was like, I fucking love that.
And the cinematography for this movie is actually the best part of it.
Yeah,
It's a very colorful, very well shot movie.
It looks good.
Yeah.
And the costuming is good.
Yeah.
But we should probably, I want to talk about the lesbian kiss at the end of the movie.
Oh, in the hospital bed?
Yeah, and where Gina Gershon and Elizabeth Berkley like make out basically.
That was wet. Lots of tongue. Really weird.
I had a problem with the lipstick.
Her lipstick?
The lipstick.
In general?
So Elizabeth Berkley has lipstick on. It's very moist. You can see it's glistening. She bends down to kiss Gina Gershon. She pulls away, and it's all
over her
over
face.
Gina Gershon. And I was like, that's not hot. That's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't get anything out of
The
that.
thing we got to remember is that in 1995, lesbian kisses on screen in a mainstream movie or in a theater was not done. Like that was like supposed to be like a big moment in the movie, but it was also something that culturally at that time, like we didn't see a whole lot of. Like, do you remember when Roseanne had the first lesbian kiss on TV
Yeah,
and stuff
and then
like
a
that?
bunch of TV programs were like, we got to put the lesbian kiss in this season.
Was this
so
about
we're going to
the
make the very special episode. And
Was
it
it-
was stupid.
Was this around the same time that they did the bare butts on NYPD Blue?
Yeah,
I think
remember
so,
that.
yeah.
Like the mid '90s was kind of like pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
of sexually explicit, and so like seeing like especially like 2 attractive women like kiss on screen in the movie theater outside of like a straight up porno was kind of a big deal. But like because nobody saw this movie, it just kind of fell flat.
There's so many boobs in this movie that they lost all mystique.
Yeah, you got bored.
You're like,
after a
oh,
while.
another pair of tits. It's obnoxious, man.
Put some ice on that thing. Make it perk up.
So that's the okay. I got to talk about how much of a just absolute prick she is to everybody that talks
Except
to her.
for the big woman.
But it's just like I don't understand how she moved up the ladder by being just an absolute jerk to everybody.
Right. I
Like,
don't get it.
She walks into one of the main female dancers of that show, and she goes like, "You're shit," and she storms off.
I'm going to make your boyfriend
Yeah,
come.
the big producer of the grand show, and she's like, "You're an ass," and she like just storms off and like slaps
and they're
him.
like, you've got the job.
"You've got the job,
I
honey."
don't,
Like,
that's not how
no,
it works.
Nope, that's not how it works at all.
So you want to hear something funny? So you know how we talked about how bad Fair Game was?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was released the same year as this movie.
This was based on Cobra also?
No. So Cindy Crawford was nominated
Uh-huh.
as Worst Actress for the Razzies, and the only reason she didn't win was because this movie came out, and Elizabeth
Good for
Berkley
you, little movie.
stole that win. Like this movie, swept the
I was just
Razzies.
going to say, I bet it swept the Razzies.
Yeah, it won every major category. And Paul Verhoeven, to this day, is the only director who's actually ever won a Razzie that actually showed up to accept the award for this movie.
Yeah.
Did the actor show up and accept any of the awards?
I don't know.
I think Halle Berry is the
Yes, I
only,
think so.
one that's ever shown up to
For
collect an award.
Catwoman, right?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about the horrendous rape scene in this movie?
God, do we have to?
We don't have
I know
to.
what I
It
would
was
say.
way too dark.
One of the interesting things, so like this is basically a morality tale.
Yeah.
And Paul Verhoeven and Joel Esterhaus, they wanted to kind of highlight how terrible of a town Las Vegas is by having everyone in the movie be terrible, except for Molly, who's Naomi's best friend or Nomi's best friend,
Yeah.
who helps her out.
And she's rewarded by not being terrible by getting raped.
Yeah. So like basically the only good person in the movie gets punished for being good.
Yes.
And that was kind of like the point of it, is that like this town will just like chew up good people and spit them
does
out. And so
sometimes feel like that.
in order to succeed in a terrible town like this, you have to be a terrible person. And that was kind of like the theme of the movie, which is a pretty terrible theme. But that was one of the reasons why they included the rape scene. And Paul Verhoeven's gone on record later on as saying like, that's his one big regret, is having like that scene in the movie, because it just feels like it drags it down to a level that he didn't want it to go.
It really should have been handled differently.
It got real dark.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that Nomi would kill that guy because she like sneaks in.
All she does is beat him up.
Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth Berkley gets the nipples of vengeance at the end of the movie.
What the fuck did she do to her nipples for that last scene?
like she's juiced up on
They
like
were
nipple
like
steroids.
red hot red. And she goes into his room and she like bares her boobs, and those things
They
were
look like red hots.
They looked like red hots.
They did.
And
I thought
was
she had like paint or something on her.
I thought so too, but then he's like all over him, and I was like, "Is it poison? What's going on?"
Oh, that would have been dope.
Yeah,
And then she beats the shit out of that
yeah.
guy.
And then she goes to her friend, and she's like,
I beat the shit out.
"I know you're in a coma, but I beat the shit out of him." And then she puts her cowboy hat on. She's like, "Bye, bitch." And then she goes and kisses Gina. It's
It's so obnoxious.
so stupid.
All right. Final thoughts, V.
I don't know what else to say about this.
Is it 1.5?
Yeah, half star for boobs.
Okay. Well,
One
seriously,
1.5 star total.
a lot
That's
of
it.
them.
It's just I've watched this movie way too many times than I want to admit in my life, and I'm
So disappointed in you.
I know, right? I don't know if I'm ever going to watch it again because I don't have to, and it's just it's awful.
This is my first watch.
It's a terrible movie.
It's my first watch. I was expecting way worse.
There's been several times when I've been like flipping through HBO at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like, oh, Showgirls is on. Okay, keep going. It's just like, yeah. So yeah.
All right. Jude, final thoughts.
I
Give it
am
a rating.
with my work husband here. It's a 1.5 star. It didn't make me angry while I was watching it. I really thought that it would have gained some campy humor given enough time, but it has
It takes
not.
itself way
I
too
feel
seriously.
like it's gotten worse with time.
Yeah.
It didn't make me angry while I was watching it. That's what I need for it to be a 1-star crap fest. I need it to make me angry. If someone makes me watch it again, it will be a 1-star crap fest. I never want to watch this
You
again.
own the special box set.
I do not.
Well, what his is yours and yours is his. In about another year and a half.
So, fun fact, that box set has been in the studio for over a year. It's been holding up Corky.
Yeah.
And this morning, Kadish was like, "Where's my Showgirls box set?" I was like, "It's over there, hon."
That's because she's always moving shit on me. I can't find anything.
I do what I want.
Okay, here's final thoughts. Give it a rating.
So I can't give this a 1 star because it's a Paul Verhoeven movie. It's not like terribly bad. I feel bad for Elizabeth Berkley. Like overall, like it is a bad movie, but it's not something that makes me angry when I watch it. I got a little bit of nostalgia for this movie. It's not terrible. That being said, it's not good. So I got to give it, at least 2 nipple pasties out of 5. So
2. Okay.
2 Lubriderms.
2 Lubriderms, totally. 2 boxes of Kleenex.
Oh man. Okay, it's my first watch. Never seen it before. Watched it for the first time. I was embarrassed. I had to kind of like.
Crying. No one walked in the room.
I'm like, Jesus, I hope my wife goes to sleep soon. I was like, I can't be watching this shit.
Wait, you watched it on your phone?
Yeah.
No, I did. I had it on the TV for a little while, and I was like, I can't have
Well,
this on
how
the TV.
crazy is it that it's on Tubi, which is free to anyone,
Yeah.
and it's an NC-17 movie?
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Like you do see Beaver in
But
that
I had it on the
Beaver.
screen. That's
Don't call it
a weird
that.
name for it,
I
man.
don't want you to call it that.
the Beav.
Hey, nice.
Let me
beaver.
finish my final thoughts. First time watch, 1.5 stars. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's not a good movie, and I will never watch it again. All right, moving on to the final movie in our
I
list.
want to say really quickly, we have it on while we're talking about it, and we just got to the scene where she's
Licking the pole.
she's doing her pole lick in her aggressive striptease.
Oh my God.
And so back in my 20s, I used to be a bartender, and after the bar would close, the only place that was open to like go and have drinks would be the strip club. So sometimes we would go to the strip club, and there was a girl at the strip club that would dance aggressively just like this, and she was like the club favorite, and she would come out and dance to like Def Leppard or something, and she was like super aggressive while she was taking her clothes off.
Probably pour
And-
some sugar on me,
yeah,
right?
I think it was.
Yeah.
And she was like the club favorite. And while I was watching this for the podcast, I was like, oh, that makes me think of Shelby.
Vader's the freaking DJ in the back of the strip. Pour some sugar on me.
Oh yeah, and no,
His
dude,
fucking glasses on and shit.
I used to hang out at a strip bar up in Oregon when I was bouncing up there, and we'd all go to the strip club.
Yeah.
And I knew a lot of the girls that worked there, and it was Pour Some Sugar on Me, and Back in Black was a big one.
Back in Black, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. The next movie on our list is Pamela Anderson and Boba Fett himself, Tamora Morrison, in Barbed Wire. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.